All right.
Gets you hyped.
That sounded weird right there.
Welcome to camp, guys.
That means there's about to be a party, Jim.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for letting us
you're
come.
so nervous.
Yeah.
I can tell already.
I'm nervous?
Today, well, we'll introduce you guys first. Today, we have the very special Jim Chaves and Selena. I don't even know how to say your last name.
Try.
Quihuis-Bell.
Quihuis-Bell. Yeah. Kiwi
QB.
like the fruit. Yeah.
I just say QB.
Finally.
Yeah, man. We got Andy's fam in the house today.
I love it. The wife couldn't be here because she had to watch the kids.
That's very
Was
nice
she
of her
bummed, do
to
you
take
think?
the hit.
Yeah.
We'll get her on
We
another
love
one.
it.
But was she bummed to miss out, you think?
I don't think so. I don't know if she likes these type of things, but
She would do it, but
she would do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely more of a
it's more his style for sure.
class clown.
Excuse me?
It's
I'm going to call my agents right now. I got to tell you this. This might be the first podcast that you guys have done where we don't use the F word.
Yes,
Oh,
we don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's no bad words on this episode.
All right.
Clean version.
This is a clean... Oh, I know you'll do it, but if you do it, you have to put $50 into the cup every time you do.
Okay, I'll have to have Gonzo advance me and paid the IRS a ton of money.
I'm just messing with you guys.
man.
I'm really stoked you guys are here and on the podcast.
Yeah, we're
I
excited.
think, for people that listen to our band, I think today will be really cool for them to get to know Andy better because you guys know Andy on such a different level than anyone else because you're his family.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think it could be like really insightful for the fans.
Yeah.
To,
Cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of dig into like the earlier years. I mean, we could start wherever, but I thought it would be interesting to kind of take it from really like the beginning and like maybe hear like how Andy was as a kid.
Yeah.
Like from the very beginning when he was coming out of the, the womb. That's kind of... that's a lot of detail.
Well, see, that's the thing about this podcast. You can get as graphic as you want. We can talk about...
We'll spare the details of that.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I almost fainted when he came out, yeah.
Did you? Did you?
No. I couldn't find the camera. We're trying to... He came out so fast, like we had no time. I couldn't put my robe on, my camera. Yeah, he was ready.
There he was. So you were just robeless.
He was ready to go.
With her, it was like 8 hours. 10
I take
hours.
my time.
Yeah.
Still do.
Late.
Poor mom was not happy with that.
It is in your guys' family to be late quite often.
Not me. Right here.
No.
I'm actually not bad. Andrew was like really bad.
He was terrible.
It was
Andy
like
either
late or just it didn't happen.
Yeah,
you show up to family parties days later, huh?
Yeah.
No, where she's late is we watch the kids, and then she'll, we're going to go out till 6 o'clock or whatever. And at midnight, we're still watching. Come on. We're still watching the kids at midnight.
We're social.
Yeah.
I heard that you're a part of a sorority.
Who said that?
Not your husband.
Oh, I know who probably said that. I mean, I don't know. I guess I have a lot of girlfriends, but
yeah,
I guess maybe it looks like a sorority at times.
I like that you guys have such like a strong friend group from like high school still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like before high school, right?
Some before high school, some I met after, but yeah.
I was at a restaurant a long time ago, and like all of you guys were outside. Actually, Larder and Delta, who is the chef that we were gonna have on in a future episode. But yeah, I just remember seeing all you guys. I'm like, that's so cool that like half you guys have kids, or all of you guys almost.
About a little more than half. Yeah.
And then you guys all still get together.
Yeah, it's nice when you have kids with friends because you can all get together and hang out. So
that is fun.
Would you get when you guys were kids? Would Andy bug you and your girlfriends?
Oh yeah, beyond.
He never stopped. I don't think.
Yeah.
At what age did it start getting like
worse?
he was really annoying you? Yeah. What would he do?
1 month old? No.
I think so we lived in San Diego for a little while. I remember it being really bad then. Him just like, I would have girlfriends over. He just wouldn't leave us alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, then it kind of shifted, right? As he got older, like he didn't want me to hang out with any of his friends or do anything with him. So, but yeah, he was the pesty. That
changed though. 'Cause in high school, I remember like when I became actually like friends with Andy in high school.
Yeah.
I remember on the weekends, some of the parties, it would merge.
Oh,
yes.
You
and your friends would be there.
Yeah.
We would all be there. And
yeah.
There's that brief time where Andy lived at that house with you, right?
Yep. He did. That was
caused chaos at that house.
That was bad. That was technically their house.
Yeah, it was our house.
And there was a 2-month period where we had an extra room, and I don't know how it happened, but they're like, yeah, just have Andrew move in. And I'm like, oh God, that's going to be a lot. Like, he's just messy. I'll never forget. It was like his first week at the house. I was at work and he calls me. He's like, how do I turn on the oven? I'm like, oh gosh, I did not sign up for this.
When we were living in California, he would not do his laundry the entire time and then wait till we went back to Arizona 2 months later to have Lydia do it for him.
Yeah.
No wonder it stunk.
One time he was cooking dinner and he was making chicken tenders, not fried, but whatever. And he just got bored with it and just started eating them half cooked. And I was like, dude, you can't do that.
Yeah, he was weird with food.
But he just wouldn't. He wouldn't be bothered if he wasn't interested in learning something. He wouldn't wouldn't ever learn it.
When we all lived together in California, Andy and Ryan would buy their groceries together, and Andy would just let Ryan pick all of the food, but Andy would always pay half.
Yeah,
because he knew Ryan would cook all of it, and so Ryan cooked Andy's food for the majority of when we all lived in California.
I mean, some of the stuff he would probably kill me if I had told you guys, but his last text, or one of his last texts to mom, was a grocery list.
Oh no,
that she was and it's specific, it's
salmon,
ground
Trader
beef,
Joe's,
85% fat, I'm like,
salmon.
Mom.
I mean, we can't even afford salmon, but we would buy it for him.
He was very picky, specific.
Yeah, he liked
prima donna,
being taken care of.
Yeah,
he did. I do remember when you guys moved to California. Remember you guys were following me, and we went through the toll road.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I was there.
There was three
in the car
trucks
with you.
following me, and I didn't know that you couldn't go through the toll road. And then when nobody had change, so we're all stuck at the. You remember this?
Yeah.
And we're all stuck at the line. Everybody's yelling at me. I was like, "How did I know?" And we had to look under the seats for change so we can get through the toll road.
I remember that.
And then we had to carry that refrigerator up the stairs. I'll never forget that.
Wait, remember the giant...
You helped us with the fridge?
Yes.
Remember the giant Egyptian family that shattered the glass table as soon as we got there?
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember this.
Yeah.
We
did a lot.
I think I stayed.
You were the scared dad, they're going to live in California. Man, this is terrifying.
I stayed with you guys one time, I think.
Did you?
We went to the main show all together.
Oh,
in Santa Ana.
It was Thanksgiving, yeah. And then I stayed at the house. I don't know why I stayed on the couch there.
That's so funny.
That was
Micah Brown stayed at the couch at your house.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yes, that's true. I remember that night fondly. It was after a clubhouse show.
Yeah.
We got a little wild after.
We would play a show, and then we would just invite everybody at the show back to Jim's house.
Great.
Yep.
So
crazy times.
So your early childhood, you guys grew up in San Diego. So where Andy was born
here.
He was born here.
But then you guys moved to San Diego.
Yeah.
Moved to San Diego. What was he, 6?
Yeah.
You guys were 6 and 8. Yeah. 1995. We were there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Andy would always reflect back to his childhood when he lived in California to when he'd be wearing a Lakers jersey and we'd be like, you don't even like the Lakers. He's like, I'm from California.
Yeah.
Or anytime we'd be driving on tour, we'd go through San Diego. He's like, oh yeah, I used to play soccer at that church. But we know he was just kidding. But he'd just point out things. He's like, oh, I remember that was my favorite place right over there.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
He did play soccer though. He was really good.
I doubt he remembered the exact field.
No, that's true though.
Yeah, he did play soccer.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
So how old was Andy when you guys, or both of you guys, when you moved back to Arizona?
I think it was right before I went into middle school. Right.
2000.
Yeah.
We moved back.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the heat.
So I guess my question is, when did he get interested in music?
Well,
what do you remember about that?
It was when we came back. Yeah, it was when we came back, and he just started to. Well, he met Pat.
Yeah,
and then Pat would give him these beats that he would download, and then they go over to his house.
How old is he at the time? 11, 10, 11? Yeah. Okay.
About 11, probably 10, 11, and he would. Go into his room and just stay there for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you doing in there? and you're scaring me. And he would come out and say, Dad, listen to this, and it would be
the most vulgar song you've ever heard.
No, well, yeah, he did do that. But initially it was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
Puppy Love?
Yeah, Puppy Love, that's right. Yeah. You have that?
I think I might be able to lock it down.
Stravers has a lot of stuff.
I love to get some of that
old
early
stuff.
stuff.
I might be able to lock that one down.
Wow.
I'll have to hit up.
But from there, he just started to get better at it. And then he came out with his CD on his own.
And that was when I became friends with Andy.
Yeah.
We were 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So it was sophomore year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I had biology class with him.
Mr. Pond.
Mr. Pond. Yep.
Mr. Pond.
I think Andrew was Mr. Pond's favorite student, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was his first name James?
Yes.
James Pond.
Yes.
Secret agent.
So yeah, I remember the first thing I remember about Andy. Well, the first time I met him was in middle school at a soccer game. We were like 12, and he was rapping there. He had bleached hair, wearing an Abercrombie shirt.
Yeah, he went through phases with his music.
Yeah.
I think in San Diego he was going through like a rock phase, and it was like
there was a time where I went and stayed at your guys' house.
Yeah,
because I used to be forced to hang out with Andy when I was a kid, being at the church,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I walked into his house and suddenly he was punk, and he's like, no, I'm punk now, and his whole wall was just
like Limp Bizkit and stuff like that. And I hated it because it was just like he would like play it so loud.
Huh.
And it was annoying.
I didn't even know he went through that phase.
Oh yeah,
he was young.
For a while.
I brought it up
and
to
then
him
it went like
he said no, and I'm like, dude, I know this is true for a fact that you were into like Good Charlotte. And
he denied it.
Yeah, he denied it, but it's true.
Yeah, no, it was true. And then it went from that to like heavy rap, like Eminem.
Yeah, that was
And
Eminem is what changed it, really, right?
Yeah.
That's where the language started to get worse.
He was obsessed with like I shared this in my speech at his service, but that's when like those are things like memories I have with Eminem and like specifically the VMAs. He was obsessed with like MTV, and we were not allowed to watch MTV, but he wanted to he would like literally make my friends and I like recreate the VMAs, and he was
and he was
directing us. Yeah. So
accept the awards and stuff.
But awesome. Those are the things he did growing up where I was like, oh gosh, but
I
looking
shared
back,
this,
it like makes sense, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I shared it at the service, but so he came out with his first CD, and
this was sophomore year of high school.
Yes.
The Andy J cover, right? He's sitting at the desk in high school.
Yeah.
And then so Mom and I are listening to it. I'm like, oh my god, a lot of language.
You guys are both featured. You guys are both featured on that album.
We were.
You leave voicemails in the skits for that album.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah. So
my favorite one is your mom calling and going, Andrew, I don't like this CD. I don't like this rap. I don't like
this music.
I don't like this music.
Yeah.
Like, this is not coming out.
Yeah.
And then he hangs up and he goes,
and then
it's said, click.
And then my message was, Andrew, where are you? Where are you, Andrew? We couldn't find him or something. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, he took the CDs to church. I shared this before, and he was passing them out at church with the language. And I was like, oh man. We're not going to be able to come to this church anymore.
Well, that's crazy because I think you explained this to me once, but one part of you is so proud of the entrepreneurial aspect that he had of pushing his own music, making a CD, getting in the studio, like to be 14 and do that on your own.
Yeah.
Without a band.
I don't think we realized that at the time. Like
totally.
How much time and just.
Yeah. Well, I had a hard time with that, but then I talked to a good friend of mine. I said, dude, I'm struggling with this. And he goes, man, you don't realize for a 14-year-old to create his own album, promote it, do a concert on his own, and do all this stuff that he did, that's amazing. I go, you're right. And I think that helped me to realize, okay, I don't agree, but we're going to support him.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time that we felt like, we're going to help you, whatever this means, You
have to separate the content from the person, kind of.
Yeah.
Because he was so good.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So who was that friend? That was a friend at church?
A friend. Yeah. He lives in Vegas, still a good friend of ours. And
that's interesting. He was probably seeing it from a bigger perspective of like what it could maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Turn
into in the future or something.
Yeah.
But it's like not something you could show your friends of like, oh, this is what my son's doing.
I did. I'd send him and say, what do you think? Well, but he said, no, dude, what he accomplishes is pretty amazing.
Is that Bob?
No, it was Dennis.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys don't know him.
Wasn't Bob out in Vegas for a while?
Bob. Who's Bob?
Oh. Who's the uncle he's not a real uncle, but...
Bobby.
Yeah.
No.
Rest in peace. Yeah. No, it wasn't him.
Okay.
It was Dennis Matzel.
That early album, the Andy J rap album. See, we're talking about this now. Fans are starting to start wondering, where is this? How come?
Don't release this.
No, we won't. We won't. It's for us.
For the family.
There are some stuff after he passed, some of the music I have is from stuff from his friends that they had that sent me. But some of it's actually pretty good.
Well, I was just gonna say, for him being 14 and putting that album out, his flow, his cadence, his timing, his delivery, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Like in general, and for him being 14, it's like, I don't know, it really is not bad.
You might be able to find the I Might Be music video on YouTube still. Yeah. Because somebody put that out there and I don't have that, but I know it's on the internet, but it's good. It's it's so good. Ryan. That's one of the ones where it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But there's some other ones where you're like, wow, he's listening to a lot of Eminem.
Well, there was one song that he wrote and it was after 9/11. And he wrote this song about a young man that passed away in one of the towers. And as he was ascending, right, into heaven, he looked down at his mom and said, it's going to be okay. And which, made both of us cry because just of the meaning of it. But it's like, man, that's for a 13-year-old. That's it's pretty deep.
It's deep, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So he put that album out and he's in high school. We're all like 14, 15.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you remember happening after that? Like once he put the album out, he played some shows on his own, right?
He did.
Yeah.
I remember him opening for like KRS-One, and I went to go see him at the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Or the sets when he had his album release show.
Yeah.
And so he brought a bunch of CDs to high school, and me and Calvin bought a CD from him.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh, this kid, he can actually rap. Like, it's cool,
Yeah.
And so yeah, he plays a couple shows. Like, what else do you guys remember anything around that time period?
I'm trying.
It's hard to remember, but
I don't.
Or we can fast forward to when the band starts.
Yeah, I feel like
I'd be interested to hear what you guys remember about that time period.
I remember taking him to your house to practice, and I remember when the first album. What was the name of the first album?
The Wonderful Days.
Yeah. And I listen to that still, and I think, man, that was good.
Yeah,
that was really good.
I love the old
stuff. Were you in the band?
I was not in the band at the time, so
it was
before they released it, the other members quit, so the album wasn't out yet. And then your friend and my family mutual friend Steve Pete contacted me. It was like, hey, Andy, they need a bassist. They just lost the bassist and guitarist, and go try out. He's like, they sound like Limp Bizkit. And I was like, I'll try out. But I had just tried out for a screamo band, and I didn't want to do that at all. But I just wanted to be in a band. And so I was like, whatever, I'll just go to be nice to Steve, mutual friend. And I hadn't seen Andy in probably 10 years. Yeah. So it was definitely weird. I didn't know. I remember both of us being like, can we cuss around each other?
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on.
Right before Ryan showed up, I remember this, the day we met you. Me, Tanner, and Andy are sitting in my garage, and Andy's like, hey guys, I haven't seen this kid in 10 or 12 years, so if he's really weird, I'm sorry. He's like, I have no idea what to expect, but he plays bass, and Ryan shows up and walks in, pulls his bass out, and plays just some fire bass line, and we're all immediately just like, dude, you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
probably
crazy.
There were probably two reasons. You were good, but also we were probably just dude, we just need a bass player.
Come on.
You were playing in jazz clubs.
Yeah, I was doing jazz stuff.
Yeah, and then
at 12 years old or whatever.
Yeah, when I was 13,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
or 14, I was playing in jazz
playing
quartets
with grown men.
It would be me and a bunch of 40-year-old guys at a steakhouse, and then they would pay me in tortellini, and I was like, this is the best.
Tortellini.
Endless tortellini. This is
spaghetti.
Yeah. But so I my whole background was jazz, and then I wasn't even super into hip hop, but once I wanted to be in a band, and I wanted to that's all I really cared about. And then it clicked right away as soon as we got in the room. And me and Andy hadn't really talked to each other in 10 years, but then just becoming friends again, because before, when we were younger, it was kind of my parents being like, all right, well, you have to go stay at Andy's house, and Andy would be crazy. And he was very much like a my house, my rules kind of kid to
really?
sleep over at.
I don't remember that.
And we would just sit there and we'd skateboard, but he neither of us were good, but he would pretend like he was landing all these tricks, and we'd just fight over everything. And so I hadn't seen him all this time. And when we finally started hanging out and we both kind of grown up more, it was such an exciting time for me. I was senior year of high school, new band. I have this whole new group of friends now because they all went to a different school. So I have my friends from my school that I still am close with, but then
Andrew's
it's this whole world of another side. And that's when I started partying a lot, and my parents were not very excited about that. But
whoops,
probably blamed it on me.
No, but it's just such an exciting time, and being young and having like no real responsibilities and just kind of like working towards something that you like love.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that first album was, like I said, I listened to it a lot, you know, still, and I think it was so well made. Because I think right after
Sunrise was the first song we ever wrote.
Yeah.
And such that was a good song.
That was the first jam session, literally the first time Andy and Tanner and Krebs and Kenny came over to my house. We wrote that song that day.
Yeah.
And so anyways, Ryan joins the band, and we ended up putting out that first album, The Wonderful Days, like a few weeks, I think, after Ryan joined the band. So instead of putting a picture of Krebs and Kenny on the inside, we took new press photos, put Ryan in it, and that caused a little bit of a stir up because Ryan didn't play on the album, but he's like in the press photo with us. But what's kind of cool about that, now looking back on it, is that like, you know, Katastro has been the same lineup forever,
right?
And like Ryan is in what really is Katastro, so it's kind of cool that he snuck into the press photo for the first album.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
that's funny.
But and that's when I think like shortly after that album came out, we wrote like That Place You Know and songs like that.
Yeah, That Place You Know is the first track that I wrote with everyone.
What's the one? I Got What You Need. I Got What You Need.
That's also
that was on the
same
thing,
Facts EP, I think.
Yeah,
or that's on Poking Holes. Yeah,
I don't know.
But anyways,
both of those were, because didn't you guys after the first album win a chance to play at Tempe, the big stage at Tempe? Was that up? There was some contest that you won
or something.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's so hard to remember.
I know.
I just remember like, this is not just some little rinky-dink, garage band. These guys are legit.
Okay, so
that's a very famous.
So are you saying that was one of the first moments where you thought, Katastro, this might be something?
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay,
like, this is really good.
Let me ask you this. I vaguely remember this. Do you remember when that A&R guy approached us and had a meeting at your house to get us to sign a contract?
Yes, we're going to be.
We were
billionaires.
18. We were like 17 at the time.
And we didn't sign, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Did you?
He promised the world. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think he's in jail now. No, I'm
Sounds about right. I remember going to, like, when I had first joined the band, going to some studio with some guy that wanted to manage us, and
yes,
we left, and I remember everybody thinking like, this could either be like amazing or this is just all bullshit.
Yeah.
Crap.
Good job, Ryan.
Nothing yet.
Yeah. But yeah, we were like, this could go either way. But then I remember
I think that was my connection. I think that was somebody that,
I remember leaving, and then Andy just going, Taco Bell Papa?
Yes, it was the three of us.
We would all go, and you go, Taco Bell Papa? And you're like, no, Andrew, Taco Bell Papa, please, Papa, Taco Bell Papa. And we're all sitting in the back of this car. And you took us all through Taco Bell, bought us all Taco Bell, and we're all just dying laughing.
Dude.
Always supporting you.
I have voice memos from like, not even, I don't know, 6 months before he passed where he's talking like that. Like,
yeah.
Can you play him? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what would Andy say when he didn't want to cuss around you and he was talking bad about himself?
He's an ugly fat piece of shh.
Yeah. It's like, son, quit saying that.
He'd say that all the time.
We would do that on tour.
You're not ugly.
Like, oh, what the
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was his one line though.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
You just
So we start the band. I remember you chipping in with my grandfather to help us get our first van.
My dad did too.
Oh, your dad chipped in too. So
I think I chipped in the most.
No, I'm just kidding. Jim's dad.
It doesn't matter.
Jim's dad, Ryan's dad, and my grandpa threw down a little bit of change so we could get our first van.
Yeah.
And do our first tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
Scary.
You're scared?
Yeah, because was it at the van? Did you get the trailer? No, that you weren't
We
pulling
didn't have
a
a trailer the first tour. We just put everything in the van.
Okay. The scary part was the trailer. When we bought the trailer and you guys were heading back east for the cold blast snow tour, some crazy. I'm like, what?
That's the winter blackout tour.
The winter blackout tour.
cold blast snow.
It really was like the cold winter. It was insane. It was negative 20 degrees in some of those spots.
Lydia and I remember you guys drove down the cul-de-sac, remember? And turned around and we're all waving to each other and go, what are we doing? What are they doing?
She was so stressed that,
I was a little scared too.
That was the scariest tour of my life. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Dude.
When you guys sent that video, he sent me a video when it was, you guys were driving through whiteout conditions at 15 miles an hour. Couldn't see. I'm like,
oh, you're not going to like this story. One of the nights on that tour, everybody left the venue and we were in Madison, Wisconsin. It was negative 20 degrees out. Stravers and Tanner had a friend there, so they went to his house first. And me and Andy were like, let's go to the bar. So we go to the bar next door and the Expendables were there and we didn't know them yet. So the only way we knew how to make friends with everybody is to just kind of party with them and then they like us and then the rest of the tour was going to be fun in our heads. And we get there and we have a great time. We're drinking all night, but then they leave and I look at my phone. I'm like, my phone's dead. And I looked at Andy. He goes, my phone's dead too.
Great.
And so we couldn't find an Uber we couldn't get the address to this house. We finally get in a taxi and somehow end up in the right complex. Like we had that taxi driving around and we're like, this is the right complex. Like just let us out here. And he's like, okay. And we start walking and it's literally negative 20 degrees out, snowing, snow up to our knees in areas. And we have no idea what house number. And I remember just looking at Andy. He's like, I'm just going to sit down. I was like, Andy, we're going to die if we don't find the right house. Like, we can't just sit down here. It's so cold. And somehow stumbled in. We saw one house with like the gate was kind of open and we just walked in and it happened to be the right house.
Oh, wow.
But it was.
So you have to remember that Lydia and I were back home praying.
Yeah. So that's how we found the house.
That's absolutely
praying for you guys all the time, man, that things would go well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was scary.
So when we started like doing our headlining shows at the Van Buren and Marquee, and you're starting to see like, okay, this is really going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you to kind of witness the growth? Because it was a long time, but out of nowhere, it kind of started building up rapidly.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember every album just blowing me away. It's like you guys kept getting better, and it was. And the thing that because I remember when one of the first albums they put you as the genre was calypso. No, it wasn't
Reggae.
Reggae. They put you in the reggae, and you guys were up on like number 10 or something in the reggae charts. Remember that?
Yeah, we remember thinking, one for a while, but our only competition was an album that was released like 20 years beforehand. So.
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. You were up there, but it's like no, they're not really reggae. Every album was different. Like it was a different feel to it, different genre, different. It was all unique to you guys, and that's what I loved about the early Katastro is that you kept evolving into something better all the time. It was like, every album was like that is really good. The quality and the engineering and the mixing and all that was phenomenal. Really.
Do you have a favorite Katastro album or song?
Put me on the spot like that.
Do you know any of the song names?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Gentleman and a Cigar. Something Gentleman.
Junkie and a Gentleman.
Yes. Well, that album.
That's your favorite? No.
Well, the album. The album
yeah.
I thought even the name of the album was really cool. It's like, what does this mean?
No Mud, No Lotus.
No Mud, yeah. And then I looked up Lotus. Oh, that's pretty cool. But I think that was like unique sound.
Yeah.
Very different. It's taking you in of course, I like the ones that don't cuss.
Yeah.
But like Runaway, I thought that was
Runaway is a good song.
That was a really. There was another song that
Andy didn't.
Oh my.
Andy didn't
Oh
like.
My.
Andy didn't like playing Runaway live because it was like a touch above his like register and like range that he liked to sing in. So live, he'd
like
always,
too high.
always before shows when we were touring off that album, he'd be like, "Dude, I don't want to play this song." He'd try to cut it every night, and sometimes Tanner would just start playing it and look over at him and be like,
"I'd be like, dude, you can't cut this song. It's #1 in Russia for the last 2 weeks, and it was
really in Russia."
Like some alternative chart, it was charting in Russia for a while.
That's because
I remember I was so dumb.
Run away.
I was like, "We're gonna have to go to Russia now."
That's so funny.
And it was just like a SoundCloud thing or something. It literally meant nothing, but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
So I remember looking at Andy and going, "We can't cut it. It's our most popular song."
It's a good song. I like it.
I'm trying to think of the other one that. Go ahead. I'll remember.
Oh no! Go ahead.
You have a phone call to take or something?
Yeah, he is an important.
His fans
guy.
are calling. He's checking his likes on his post real quick.
I'm blanking on the other song that I thought was really, really good. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Oh,
I don't know what's next.
Yeah, we're just.
What do we want to talk about next? Maybe we'll talk about how you guys feel about Muse since Muse is now out.
It is?
Yeah, it's out now.
It'll be out.
Oh yes. I cry every time.
Yeah.
Every time I hear that song. Might get emotional now, but I don't know. It's just the message. In fact, I looked up Muse as well because what does Muse mean?
Mm-hmm.
What I saw was that it means somebody that inspires you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the meaning is really cool, but it's a raw side of Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, and it's I think hopefully the fans are loving it, and I'm sure they got emotional when they heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually #1 in Russia right now.
That was a nice callback.
Yeah,
that's amusing.
He can't help himself.
I can't help myself. I love it.
Yeah,
I love the whole album.
I mean, it's been such like a hard journey for us, and then can't imagine how much harder it even is for you guys. But what was kind of going through your heads once we started picking apart this album and finishing up the final Katastro album until the end of time? You want to take that one, Cel?
Yeah, I guess so.
I want to put you on the spot, Cel.
I think, we started hearing it. I think there was a lot that was made that we didn't hear before he passed. And so I remember it was the weekend of his service, Stravers, you guys came over and just started playing it for us. Like we have that video of
one of the songs.
One of the songs.
Oh yeah, we can't say song names yet.
No, it's okay. But yeah,
one of the songs.
I mean, you guys from the beginning, like literally that weekend of his funeral.
Yeah.
You began to hear all of the bits and pieces that we knew we had.
Right.
Because we were all just in this like crazy kind of in shock and grieving process of like just wanting to listen to anything that's him singing that we hadn't really heard. So
yeah, and that's what, to your point, it's like we've heard snippets in the beginning, so it's been cool to see it kind of all come together and be like a full song. You know, I think it's amazing how much you have of him, of his voice, and it's just, it's kind of crazy. Like even hearing some of the songs, like the lyrics are just a little surreal too with what he talks about. So yeah.
There's a lot of like reflection on life and stuff in the album, which is different for Andy. And I think he was like at that kind of point in his life right before he passed where he was still struggling, but he was like, he wanted to be good, but then he kept falling back and then not. And so it's
not dark though. Like to your point, it's like I remember when I first heard Washed, I had to take some time to really listen to the words to that album. And I was like, oh wow, like I need to get in front of this. Like, I don't think he's okay. And Sugar Pills is a song that I remember when I first heard that song, I texted him right away and I was like, are you okay? Like this song is really just dark. And he was always like, it's fine. Don't worry about it, you know? But I'm like, well, it's got to come from somewhere. So,
but like I said, every album gets better with you guys, but this to me is a masterpiece. I mean, I really, of course, I'm biased, but when you listen,
You're what?
Bias.
I think
what did you think I said?
I just heard bye and I stopped listening.
Oh, jeez.
Okay,
I am not.
I think. I think the reason you might be a little biased is because you might be on one of the songs.
Oh, you
might be singing on one of the songs on the album.
Is there a rumor that I might be?
There is this like rumor going around that you are indeed singing on one of the songs.
Are we allowed to talk about that? Or
yeah,
we can talk about
it. But yeah.
Well, okay. So finishing what I was saying is that the way that all your friends came together to finish this, there's not one song on there that people are not going to be blown away by.
Yeah.
It's that good. I mean, I get these, I imagine, what if whoever, gets to hear it and says, this, we ought to, recommend this for album of the year. I mean, I thought about that. I go, why not? If somebody said, if they get behind the story of losing Andrew, of you guys continuing, on to try to finish the last album, somebody might get a hold of it and say, this is a great story. Yeah. And, so I've what would I say if because I would be up there, right? So,
yeah, of course.
Along with you guys, maybe.
Yeah, I'm going to start playing the music right now.
What's crazy, yeah.
And now for album of the year.
But
I think it's that good.
Yeah.
And to your point, yes, I'm going to be on one of the songs. It'll be the first and last time that Andrew ever did anything musically.
Which is so cool.
I love it. I mean, I think it's, for me, it's something that I can cherish.
Mm-hmm. People are bringing up Cel's claps too.
They are.
Yeah.
They're talking about
our hands are in the shaker, a little bit of shaker.
Yeah.
Well, and the girls.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah.
I think,
she loves it. Mia, like.
Can she tell it herself? Like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. She already knows the names of the songs. She's in it.
I mean, I guess let me ask you this: compared to any other Katastro album in the past, and then this new one, for me, it's so much more than just an album. I think, obviously, for Tanner and Ryan too, for all three of us, it's not just like, oh, we just got to finish this album because that's what bands do. It's so much more than just an album at this point. It symbolizes so much more, and I guess what is that like for you guys? Like, how do you view what has the album been for you, even like the creation process and like to the point that we're at now? Muse is out. We just put out the first single. We're about to start, rolling out the rest of this album.
I think of closure. I think of tribute. What a wonderful memory. I know Andrew was the lead singer, but you guys are just as much of Katastro, right? Obviously, because he passed, we're kind of put him up front a little bit, but just for the whole band, what a great way to finish. Yeah. What a great way to, to be able to look back and be happy for what you accomplished. And who knows, you might have another album down the road, but this is, closure for you guys. And
for
obviously
for you guys too.
Yeah. Yeah. But obviously we watched you guys mourn. I'll never forget the day after he passed and you guys came over to the house and there was a lot of crying for a few hours. And so I know how much pain you guys have had to deal with. And so I see how this has helped all of you guys to just feel like you finished something, together. And even though Andrew's not here, so it's really neat. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, it's just, the pressure of trying to finish this off for Andy's legacy, but it's also like my legacy and everything that we've done, like me personally, my whole life building up to, working on this band and all of us just being kids and doing it together for the love of it. And now suddenly it has this giant new weight and meaning to it.
Yeah.
But I'm so proud of what we did with it and how it all came together. But is there anything like other than album of the year, what would you like to see in the future of Katastro?
You know, I mean, I think that you guys have worked really hard on this thing for the last 2 years. And I know streaming, I mean, that's the way things are today, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody streams, and that's great. But I hope that everybody says, you know, we want Katastro to be successful, and they actually go out and buy the album. I mean, nobody buys it anymore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I do, because I always feel like I want to support you.
You're gonna buy the album, right?
I always do.
Okay.
I always used to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would buy tickets to the shows.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? By the
way, we didn't even get
backstage. You gotta get 20 of his friends.
Oh my gosh.
You gotta talk to Gonzo about that one.
And then we would be in the back. And it's like, I don't get this, but you know, I hope that people say, you know, we want to financially.
Yeah.
You know, make this the best.
Well, I think people are able to do that through, I mean, yes, buy the album, but through the merch is the big thing. And that's completely, I think.
And rumors have it.
People love the merch.
Yeah. Rumors have it that this is going to be the best merch ever.
It's out now.
It's out now. The merch is out now.
Dude.
When this comes out.
Okay.
I'll never forget the first night for camp.
Get it for free.
Like seeing that line of people at the merch table was insane, and it did not stop. I mean, we were there for 3-4 hours at Marquee.
Oh, that was
It was just like people like were going crazy.
We almost sold out of all the merch that we had made.
Yeah.
For both, or we did. We sold out
Saturday,
of all the merch that we had made for both days and the first night. Yeah.
What about the lines of people waiting to talk to Jim Chaves?
Oh, I know.
Come on, we can talk about your fans. It's all good.
What was cool is Lydia and I at the Marquee, we felt so bad that there was like 200 people lined up to buy merchandise, you know, and so we started walking down the line, hugging people and talking to people and apologizing that it was taking so long to get merchandise, but getting to know, and that was such a neat weekend, man.
That really was such a beginning of, I feel like a new relationship that your family built with our fan base, because I feel like, and especially with, you know, the Gentle Predator like fan club on Facebook, and you guys, I mean, what has that process been like for you guys to become closer with the fans after losing Andy?
Well, you guys kid me about it, but I went from 110, I call them fans.
What are we looking at today? What are our
followers?
Instagram?
He's at a little over 1,000.
Yeah, but I went down.
Don't post political stuff.
I didn't.
People don't want to see that.
I haven't put no political. And if I share my faith, I don't do over the top. I just, you know, but
I think sometimes people like delete their profile. So
you may have had some
Russian bots.
I was trying to take it. I was starting to take it personal. But no, it's, you know, so from that to the, you know, all the texts and the messages and, you know, gifts. I mean, it's been so cool. I mean, we love it.
Yeah,
you know, it's people genuinely care for us.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure has that made it a little bit easier, you think, on the family?
So there was a post, and she said something very nice, and you know, she mentioned, you know, I can't remember how she put it, but I said, you know, obviously my faith, but the fans, you know, the family, all the things that have sustained us, you know, because looking back, it hasn't been easy, but having all those things, having you guys, you know, I refer to you guys as my sons, and
I mean, really though, we didn't like. Andrew kept us very separate. Like, I mean, when did I ever really talk to you? Like, besides that show, same with Ryan, Tanner, and like.
Yeah, we've always been like friends.
We've always been friends, but now you're coming over to my house to do laundry and hang out with my kids and make them pancakes
to borrow
stuff.
Money.
Yeah,
it's the best.
But really, and even Andrew's like, of course, you guys, but even Andrew's like friends, his like Derek, Chad, Kelsey, Anthony, Marie. Like, I'm going to baby showers, weddings, and like. It's crazy.
It's a really cool thing that for me that I've noticed that since Andy passed, this like big door opened up to become way closer with a bunch of people that I had already had around me that I could have been close with.
Like you've gotten closer with them too.
100%. Yeah, for sure. But
because I think like I think we're going to Anthony's wedding, and Tanner made a comment like I made a face or did something, and he's like, oh my gosh, that was weird, like that was Andrew. But I feel that with you, and I feel like sometimes some of the things like you do or just your mannerisms, and then
he
Derek especially, I'm like, gosh, you guys, when I first met Derek, Andrew had Derek meet us for dinner one time. It was like they were on a date or something, and I was like, I remember leaving and I'm like, they're like the same person. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, I think it's like,
I see that in you a lot. Like you'll say something in a way that I'm like, that was Andy. That's so weird.
Oh, me too.
You are
him. Yeah, for sure.
Literally, you and Andy are almost the same person.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's like we all lived in a small van together for
down by the river.
8 years.
Yes,
pretty much. Yeah. Sometimes it would be. Sometimes it'd just be a ditch or a canal or a Walmart. But you all kind of rub off on each other and become like this hive.
Oh, we can see it.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the thing. If anyone wants to know where Andy's stage presence and charisma came from, you should see this guy at a wedding when the DJ hands him the mic.
And I will post that video right here.
No, thank you.
The Frank Sinatra one.
So good. Well, you forgot the words, but
I did forget.
Well,
the words.
you do.
But I made them up.
You have a very similar thing that Andy had. Like he obviously got it from you, but this magnetism that like when you walk in a room, people want to be around you. You're very funny. You're always cracking jokes, and I think those are some of your best qualities.
They make similar like faces,
and you're able to like turn it on when it's time,
and you're not able to turn it off, which is also
I can turn it off.
It's also a problem.
No, I can turn it off, but no,
you can.
To your point, one of you guys' point is that we never knew Derek or Anthony or any of those friends, maybe high and by kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those guys.
Yeah.
You know, they come over our house.
We were just over here for Mother's Day.
I played golf with Derek, and I mean, they become like.
We all genuinely feel like you guys are our parents.
I know.
Like our second.
I think even some of the fans.
You guys are always
Papa Jim.
Papa
Chaves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be family for all of us forever.
Yeah,
it's a cool thing that I don't know. It's like one of the. Like the blessings I find in like what has happened.
For sure.
Being able to for all of us to get to know you guys really well. And I don't know, I think you've said this to me a lot, Cel, that like when we hang out, it makes us all feel closer to Andy in a way.
Yeah. It does. And I think that's why like for his birthday, for just little things, it's good to I love all being together. Like even just we celebrate
on Mother's Day, which was rough because this most recent Mother's Day was the anniversary of Andy's passing.
Right.
So
and at first Lydia, my mom, she didn't want to do didn't want to do anything, which I was like, hey, whatever you want to do, we'll do whatever you want to do. But she ended up saying, okay, yes, let's do something. She ended up
saying okay and then cooking a ton of food
she
and
did.
Then having everyone come over to her
that's
house.
True.
That's mom.
But I don't even think I've told you this, but Derek, some of those guys stayed behind till like 11 at night. And
can you guys go now?
We were just they have a room in their house that they now call Andrew's room. It has just pictures of him. We keep all his clothes and all his stuff in there.
Mom swears that he comes and moves the pictures around.
Yeah, she does.
Like, okay.
But it was cool because we just kind of all sat on the bed and just talked and went through some of his clothes and, some of his stuff that he wore like for music videos. We're like, oh, I remember that. And
do you want to talk about the situation that you had to look at with his clothes? Right after Andy passed?
Oh, yeah. At his house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a little breakdown of that.
So I had never been...
This is funny.
I had never been to his house. Like, I picked him up.
He had just moved in there, right? Because
I think he had been there for about a year. Kyle's house?
Yeah.
I think he had been there for about a year. So anyways, after... I think we went to the house like a week or so maybe after it happened. Just Mom and I went. And I had Derek meet us there because I was like, hey, just... kind of go through, make sure, like, I don't want my mom to see anything crazy. Like, let's just make sure it's good. We walk into his room. It was spotless. Like, bed made. He had...
Whose room is this?
He had like 25 pairs of shoes, like just like lined up on the wall, and 3 closets full of clothes.
Very nice.
With tags. Nice clothes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, because...
Yes.
We all know she helped him, and I was like, this is a problem. Like, how does
pay us back?
Yeah. And we just kept finding clothes and shoes and Crest white strips.
Ryan
one of those.
Ryan had to explain to Andy that you can't put those on every hour for like 4 days straight.
Oh, he was obsessed.
He would wake up and he'd be like, my mouth hurts. And you would sleep with them in.
Oh my gosh. What else did he have? Oh, okay. You know those, like, you get them done at facials. They're like the mask things, and they have the LED. Like, he had that. I was like, why does he have this? Like, we just literally spent like 30 minutes going through cosmetics.
Well, I just remember you calling me being like, we just loaded 4 trunkfuls of clothes.
Yeah.
Like, of Andy's.
You guys ended up just leaving some stuff there.
So much stuff. Well, I mean, like, I have some of his clothes, like his t-shirts I wear.
I wear his underwear.
Do you remember? I don't know why we did this.
Feels close to me.
When we left your house to...
So
we
gross.
left your house. I think
they're a little tight, but it's okay.
Ryan, you were there too, I think. But we were at right when the memorial thing was happening at Marquee. We drove Andy's car, his Beamer, to the Marquee with like a couple friends.
Yeah.
And I opened the trunk.
Close.
And there was like, I'm not kidding, like 40 or 50 things of unopened ASOS clothes.
Yeah.
And it was just so funny.
He would order clothes off ASOS, and then he would wear it once for a photo, and then like say, I'm going to return them. But I don't think
he drove me nuts when he did that.
He
can't do that.
He would do that kind of stuff a lot. But no, he's like, I mean, yes, the clothes were crazy. The shoes, we have so much of his stuff still, but
the closets.
But it was actually like, I was shocked to see how clean it was, and he had a lot of like, I don't know. I think I sent you a photo. I found a notebook of like old lyrics that he had written out. So I was actually pretty proud of him after seeing his room. I'm like, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought.
What was pretty cool is that all his cousins from LA, the boys and the girls, came over and they each got something.
That's really cool.
We wanted his friends. I know you have stuff.
Yeah.
This is a funny story. Okay, so
you want his underwear?
No. So my mom's, Andrew's room in their house has just like stuff hung up everywhere. So shortly after, the boys, you guys came over. We're like, go pick something or a couple things, whatever you want to take. Yeah, the whole band is in the room. And Ryan's taking like a really long time. I'm like, wow, he's really like, and I get it.
Sweater? You took a sweater.
No, hold on. I get it too. It feels kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
like going through.
I didn't like
some like it feels weird. So, anyways, he took a while, and he finally comes out like half hour later. And he's got a jacket, like a leather like jacket.
It's too small.
He's like, okay. He's like, I think I'll take this one. And we're like, my mom's like, Ryan, that's my jacket.
It was so funny.
He's like, oh, okay. He's like, I think I'll put it.
The only item in there that wasn't Andy.
It's the one thing he took too.
Well, everything had two. Like,
you have good taste.
I don't have anything of Andy's.
I mean, some of his stuff is women's clothes.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was a mistake,
funny.
but
I just remember it being really small, and now I know why.
Well, some of his, like I was saying, some of his stuff is actually women's clothing. Like he would go to Zara and like get just like a size up. Yeah. But it's women's clothes.
He literally would.
He what?
He literally would. Yeah. He would get like if it was like a cool flowy shirt, he would just like wear a woman's.
But he could rock it.
He could rock it. Like
he could still rock it.
He rocked so many things
away with it.
that, he just like the blonde hair era.
My favorite.
If I wore that, I'd be arrested.
My favorite shirt, Jeff, your husband Jeff, took Andy's
the
Rolex
watch shirt.
It's like
Rolex,
Like it's a shirt that has Rolexes all over it. And
yeah.
It's just hilarious because like Andy, I remember him wearing that shirt. I remember being in the green room when Andy put that on one night before a show, and Tanner walked up to him and he's like, "You're not wearing that." And Andy's like, "Oh yeah, I am."
Yeah, but I mean, like leopard, he had a lot of like animal print stuff. I mean,
got away with it.
My mom wore the red blazer he wore on, I think, The Way I Feel. She wore that to camp, the first night of camp. But it looks great on her. I'm like, well, it's probably women's blazer.
Is there anything you guys want to say to the fans now that you got the mic? I know you might want to say something to the fans.
To the fans.
Or anything you guys want to say about Andrew or the album or the fans, whatever.
I mean, you know, as far as the fans, it's amazing. I think back at Kamp Fest and what an experience that was. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. Maybe other bands have experienced something, but to have 3,300 people there, all for the same purpose, all just loving each other, and it was so cool.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do that again.
Yeah. It was amazing.
We'll see. But
I was pregnant for it, but I also I remember being like, oh, like doing things like that when you're pregnant kind of suck because you can't, drink a little.
Have a little vino.
But I actually, looking back, I'm kind of happy I was, because I was able to be very present and in the moment, and just also our family, when we're all together, there's 25 of us. So getting everyone, because
the cousins were lit.
They were wild. But originally we were just going to go up on stage, and I think last minute we're like, let's everyone go up. And so I know for our family, we have such a big family, it's brought us a lot closer together. We see them so much more now.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that we weren't close before. I just think it just really heightened everything. And
that day at the beach that we did.
Yeah. Now we do. We do the beach every year. So there's just.
But the fans, back to the fans, they have been amazing, and continue to be. Just so supportive, and I know they're all looking forward to the new album, and just say we love you guys for all the support, and you guys have been amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you guys for coming. This is fun.
Are we done already?
Yeah.
I got 5
Do we have
minutes.
to go?
Oh, do you? I thought you had to be out of the door.
No, 11:30.
I'm retired, so I can stay here for another couple hours if you want me to.
You're what?
I'm retired.
Oh,
He's
you said the
retired.
right word.
Yeah.
Did you think I said the other word, the other R word? It's not politically incorrect.
Anything
Although
else?
I am a little bit of that, but
No, yeah, for
yeah.
Kamp Fest, it's been fun. And it's been cool just getting to know you guys. Obviously, there's so much history in my family of just knowing you guys through church.
Yeah.
But there's always this kind of weird, I only knew you guys from church.
Yeah.
It was never, but getting to know Jeff, your husband, I love him to death.
Stravs and Jeff are going to run away together, I think.
Yeah. It's just
my boy, man.
Stravs comes over. I'm like, hey, I'm here too. They just,
yeah.
You guys, yeah.
It's cool.
He loves you guys.
Everybody. And even I would always be with Andy at the family parties in LA and stuff. So being able to see them more too is it's a lot of fun.
That is.
I mean, you guys were at my wedding.
Yeah, we were at your wedding.
Yeah, we watched that video recently.
Yeah,
I just found.
Have you seen that video?
Have you seen that? Our wedding video?
Am I drunk wearing a sombrero dancing on the dance floor? So. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. You're in it for sure, but the biggest thing was Andrew's shirt. It's just
one button.
Him and Uncle David.
Uncle David. Yeah.
I remember Andy grinding on the groundskeeper.
Right?
Oh my god!
No wonder the cops came.
The cops did
several
come.
times.
Your wedding was a blast.
It was so fun.
It
was so fun.
I found this picture. I have the photo booth picture of me.
Oh yeah.
And Andy and Uncle David.
Oh my gosh.
Somewhere at my house.
I have that if you need.
Yeah.
I kept all those.
I will say that before everything happened in Andy passed, I had always really enjoyed being around your guys' family because there was this very big sense of just it's a big family. You can tell there's a lot of love there. And after Andy passed, it's been so beneficial for me to still be around you guys a lot. And I think it's really helped the whole band to have that community and that support system because me, my family separated and kind of fell apart when I was young.
Yeah.
When I was 17 and it's not normal for a lot of people to have what you guys do have as a family nowadays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not so when I'm around that, it feels it feels very warm and just I just want you guys to know that.
Yeah. On my side, I don't have any family in Arizona anymore. So it's when everything got crazy, I was just sitting by myself and I remember feeling I want to go see my parents, and it was one of those moments where I was just I need my family, but I didn't have them around. So it's been cool to be able to be around you guys.
Yeah.
When,
you're welcome
all
anytime.
The special holidays.
Yeah, because everything we've been through, it's you can't just do it alone.
Yeah.
It doesn't even mean that like you need someone to tell you the right thing or whatever. Just like being together.
Yeah.
Like you said, like when we all just get together.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be like a motive, but like let's all get together and then we all feel better. And I think in a lot of ways that symbolizes the album and how the album was even made and how it got done. And like to me, it's very cool to see all that stuff come together and mean something more than just an album.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Community.
Yeah, I think people are gonna lose it when they hear it. I'm stoked on it. The album's
they're
great.
They're gonna lose it.
It's a different side of it.
You're the number one
What?
streamer, aren't you?
yeah, so I have
he's tracking us.
I have an app, or the band has an app that we uploaded the album to, and it's just a private streaming link for the family and like very, very close friends. You know?
Yes. Yeah. And who's the number one streamer?
And Jim Chaves, I can see the analytics. And Jim Chaves is the number one streaming.
Yes.
So you are the biggest fan of Katastro at this point, right?
All right. That sounds about right.
Which there are some fans that are going to have a problem with that. They're probably going to hit you up about this. See if they can battle that out.
Oh, yeah. But we'll see if you share that. You can't share that with anyone.
And it's funny because
we did good. I was like,
no, they haven't.
Did you good.
Oh my gosh. When you send us a screenshot, I was like, thank God we haven't sent it to anybody.
What?
Remember he sent us a screenshot of like everyone's name?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's in the album?
He's watching, huh?
That's in the album. Oh, no, that's...
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time I cry, every time I hear that album, a couple of songs always get to me. But, well, this was fun. I think part 2 is in the making.
Yeah. No, definitely. We'll have you guys back.
He already invites himself back. No,
I'm just kidding.
I was like...
There's so much more to talk about.
You guys were over for Mother's Day. I was like, so... I think somehow the podcast got brought up. And I was like, can we be on the podcast?
You guys killed it. This was great.
It's good.
Good job.
Yeah.
I know. You guys do an amazing job. Like I watch usually every episode. This is hard. I feel like this is kind of hard to do.
Yeah,
like,
we're really good at it.
You guys...
We're just like talented and stuff, you know?
But you guys are good.
It's almost like I don't even think about it anymore. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even feel these anymore.
No.
I have a headache, but...
All right. Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Podcast.
Long live Katastro.
Long live Katastro.
AJC forever.
AJC forever.
AJC forever.